Welcome to Curious World, where we delve into the intriguing, the shocking, and the lesser-known aspects of our globe. Today we're casting a spotlight on a sinister plague that affects nations across the world: corruption. This isn't just about a few bad apples. It's a pervasive force that stifles development, cripples economies, and tramples on human rights. From lush landscapes to tropical paradises, from oil-rich reserves to war-torn streets, corruption spans the globe and leaves no corner untouched. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but by shedding light on these issues, we can gain a deeper understanding and work towards a solution. So, if you're as passionate about understanding our world as we are, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Buckle up as we embark on a journey through the 10 most corrupt countries in the world. Starting our countdown at number 10, we have Zimbabwe, a land of stunning natural beauty marred by corruption. Zimbabwe, a country blessed with a wealth of natural resources, is unfortunately also rich in corruption. The roots of this corruption run deep, particularly in the mining sector. Imagine a land where the very soil under your feet holds untold wealth, but instead of benefiting the people, it lines the pockets of a few. This is the reality for many Zimbabweans. The country's vast mineral reserves, including gold, diamonds, and platinum, are exploited by corrupt officials who prioritize personal gain over national prosperity. This corruption has a profound impact, stunting economic growth and hindering the development of the country. It's a tragic irony. Beneath Zimbabwe's breathtaking landscapes lies a wealth that could transform the nation. Yet it is this very wealth that fuels the corruption holding it back. Despite its potential, Zimbabwe remains shackled by corruption. At number 9, we find ourselves in the tropical paradise of Comoros, where corruption lurks beneath the surface. As we delve deeper into this paradise lost, we uncover a scandal that shook the nation: the Comoros passport scandal. This was an illicit scheme where passports were sold to stateless individuals, effectively turning citizenship into a commodity. This scandal not only revealed the extent of corruption in the country, but also highlighted how it penetrates all levels of society. From the highest echelons of power to the common man, corruption has woven itself into the fabric of Comoros, tainting the natural beauty of this tropical paradise. This is a stark reminder that even in places that seem like paradise on the surface, corruption can still lurk in the shadows, eroding the foundations of society and hindering the growth and prosperity of the nation. Corruption in Comoros serves as a stark reminder that not all is as it seems in paradise. Number 8 on our list is Turkmenistan, a country where corruption is not just prevalent, but state-sponsored. In this Central Asian nation, corruption is deeply ingrained within the government, so much so that it has become a part of the system. It's not just about a few rotten apples, it's about a culture of corruption that permeates every level of the state apparatus. From the highest echelons of power to the lowest rungs of the civil service, corruption is a way of life. This isn't just about bribes or kickbacks, it's about a system where those in power use their positions to enrich themselves at the expense of the people they're supposed to serve. It's about a government that's more interested in lining its own pockets than in serving its citizens. In Turkmenistan, corruption is not the exception but the rule. Coming in at number 7 is Nicaragua, where corruption has a stranglehold on the economy and human rights. In this Central American nation, the grip of corruption is tightening, choking off economic progress and stifling the voice of the people. The tendrils of corruption have seeped into every layer of society, from business tycoons to public officials, allowing a culture of impunity to thrive. This grim reality has not gone unnoticed internationally. Organizations like the United Nations and the Organization of American States have intervened, hoping to curb the rampant corruption and restore the rights of the Nicaraguan people. But the fight is far from over. Despite these interventions, corruption remains deeply rooted, a testament to the resilience of greed when allowed to grow unchecked. Nicaragua's struggle with corruption is an alarming reminder of the power of unchecked greed. At number 6, we find the Democratic Republic of Congo, a hotbed of corruption and exploitation. Here, corruption is more than just a word, it is a lived reality for the Congolese people. The country's vast natural resources, including diamonds, copper, and cobalt, have become a curse exploited by the corrupt, leaving the masses impoverished. The exploitation of these resources has not only led to economic disparity, but also to egregious human rights abuses. Child labor, hazardous work conditions, and summary executions are a grim part of daily life in the mining regions. Imagine a nation rich in resources, yet its people are among the poorest in the world. This is the paradox of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where corruption and exploitation have created a chasm between potential and reality. In the DRC, corruption is a vicious cycle that fuels exploitation and abuse. It's a stark reminder of the devastating impact corruption can have on a nation and its people. Number 5 on our countdown is Eritrea, where corruption is a tool of government control. Here in Eritrea, the lines between corruption and governance blur into a murky abyss. The government's iron grip extends into every facet of life, and unfortunately, corruption is no exception. It's a country where the privilege of power is often exploited for personal gain, at the expense of the population. Imagine an economy held back not by lack of resources or talent, but by a system that siphons off its potential into the pockets of the few. This stifling of economic growth, compounded by the violation of human rights, has resulted in a state of despair for many Eritrean citizens. From arbitrary arrests to forced labor, the human rights abuses in Eritrea are a harrowing testament to the devastating effects of corruption. In Eritrea, corruption is a symptom of a deeper issue: government control. It's a chilling reminder of how unchecked power can corrupt not just individuals but entire systems. At number 4, we have Equatorial Guinea, a wealthy nation plagued by corruption. This small Central African country boasts an abundance of natural resources, including substantial oil reserves, making it one of the richest countries per capita in Africa. But this wealth doesn't trickle down to the average citizen. Instead, it's been siphoned off through embezzlement and mismanagement, leaving the majority of the population in poverty. Corruption in Equatorial Guinea runs deep, from the highest echelons of power to the grassroots level. Human rights abuses are rampant, with dissent often silenced through intimidation and violence. This has created an environment where corruption thrives, unchecked and unchallenged. Equatorial Guinea's tale is a cautionary one, shedding light on the devastating impacts of corruption. It's a country rich in resources, but poor in governance, where wealth is concentrated in the hands of the few, while the many are left to endure the consequences. Despite its wealth, Equatorial Guinea stands as a stark example of how corruption can rob a nation of its potential. Number 3 on our list is Haiti, where corruption is an epidemic. In this Caribbean nation, corruption is not just a problem, it's a way of life. It's as pervasive as the warm tropical air, infecting all levels of society. From the highest political offices to the humblest public servants, the culture of corruption seems to be deeply rooted. Haiti, with its rich history and vibrant culture, should be a place of prosperity, but corruption hinders any semblance of progress. Development efforts are stymied, with funds often disappearing into a black hole of graft and embezzlement. Infrastructure projects that could provide jobs and improve living conditions remain unfinished, or are never started at all. The economy, already fragile, is further weakened by this insidious disease. The people of Haiti deserve better. They deserve a future free from the shackles of corruption. But for now, the epidemic continues unabated. In Haiti, corruption is a disease that threatens to consume the nation. Coming in at number 2 is Burundi, where corruption is closely linked to political power. Burundi, a small but vibrant nation in East Africa, is an unfortunate example of how power can be manipulated to serve the interests of a few at the expense of many. The tentacles of corruption in this country reach into every corner, stifling economic growth and hijacking development projects. Schools are left unbuilt, hospitals remain understaffed, and roads decay under the weight of fraud and bribery. But it's not just about the money, it's also about the erosion of trust, the loss of hope, and the undermining of the very institutions that should be working to uplift the nation. In Burundi, corruption seems to be a weapon wielded by those in power, a tool to control resources and maintain a stranglehold on the nation's potential. The cost of this corruption is paid by the people, who bear the brunt of a system that values power over progress. At number 1, we have Somalia, the corruption capital of the world. In this East African nation, corruption is not just a problem, it's deeply embedded in the system. The tendrils of corruption have wrapped themselves around every facet of society, from the highest positions of authority to the everyday life of ordinary citizens. This is a country where bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power are not an exception, but an everyday reality. Public offices have become personal fiefdoms, and the rule of law more a suggestion than an obligation. It's a place where the lines between the legitimate and the illicit are blurred and often indistinguishable. The unfortunate consequence of this rampant corruption is the crippling effect it has on development, economic growth, and the general welfare of the Somali people. It's a harsh reminder of the devastating impact corruption can have on a nation. In Somalia, corruption is not just a problem, it's the norm. We've traversed the globe, unveiling the harsh realities of corruption. From the breathtaking landscapes of Zimbabwe to the tropical paradise of Comoros, we've witnessed how corruption taints natural beauty. We've seen how Turkmenistan's state-sponsored corruption and Nicaragua's economic struggles are fueled by dishonest practices. We've explored the Democratic Republic of Congo and Eritrea, where government control exacerbates corruption, leading to exploitation and human rights abuses. We've looked at Equatorial Guinea, Haiti, and Burundi, where, despite abundant resources and potential, corruption hinders development and prosperity. And finally, we've delved into Somalia, the corruption capital of the world, where dishonesty is deeply ingrained in the system. This journey was not an easy one, as corruption is a complex and multifaceted issue. But remember, change starts with awareness. So let's keep the conversation going. Do you know of other countries that should be on this list? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay informed and curious with Curious World.